All right, Shalom, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who taught me this truth. Double salutations to all you Akim out the labor in the house of David, the elect, that's pushing his word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom to you, brothers, and shalom to the elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Rakakwadash. All right. Just wanted to briefly speak on this situation here, as a lot of you know. And just using wisdom as I speak about this particular topic here, dealing with the you know who's, right? So I just entitled this show here "A Wave of Legislation for the Professional Victim." All right, because these devils know how to play that role. All right, that role of being a victim, man. So I just wanted to play this video here, which was kind of vexing, but pretty much they're going hard, man. They're gonna make sure that they have this, as you see, this thing is in play. It's on the books, the bill dealing with the people that you're not allowed to talk about, that you can't speak on. All right, which is all going to result into a famine of the word and the persecution of the saints, of the prophets, man. So we scripture say that, a man of wisdom, a prudent man, foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. We foresee the evil that's coming. The narrative, the persecution, the hate, if you will, the demonization of this truth. We see it all brewing up. All right, so he's pretty much getting ready to go in. All right, but anyway, just jumping right into this thing. This article we briefly brought out at camp, just kind of re-highlighting here. It says a wave of legislation seeks to penalize criticism of Israel as anti, you know what. All right. So let's just read a little bit here. All right. Finished. So it says the House of Representatives on Wednesday voted overwhelmingly to advance a bill that would empower the federal government to crack down on student protests by defining anti, you know what, in a way that includes certain criticism of Israel, sponsored by Representative Mike Laurier, a Republican from New York. A bill's passage reflects a broader national trend. All right. So let's read a little bit more. It says earlier this year, Governor Brian Kemp signed HB 30, which revised Georgia's hate crime statute to include certain forms of speech critical of Israel. Right. So they're using every inch to cover anything that's being said about them, man. All right. And it's going to be tied into hate crimes. It's going to be tied into acts of terror, all types of shit, man. All right. Jail time, hefty fines, all of that. So it says earlier this year, Governor Brian Kemp signed HB 30, which revised Georgia's hate crime statute to include certain forms of speech critical of Israel. In March, Governor Kristi Noem signed legislation into South Dakota's civil rights statute that codifies some forms of speech critical of Israel as a form of illegal discrimination, right? And they're going to pump this in all 50 states. All right. Once again, Esau exercising that immunity, as I be speaking about Psalm 73 real quick. All right. This is Psalm 73, verse 3 again. It says, For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. All right. And one part of their strength being firm, of Esau's strength being firm, is, by the way, through his policies, man. All right. His laws. All right. It says, but their strength is firm. The point, it says, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Right. The point. All right. He's in power. He has the immunity right now, man. All right. Let's pull that up. All right. Let's pull that real quick before we go back to the article. All right. And that immunity goes back to Cain, man. You know? So this is the definition of immunity, right? The quality or condition of being immune, it says, definition 3, it says exemption from certain generally applicable requirements of law or from certain liabilities granted to special groups of people to facilitate the performance of their public functions, right? Which is going on with who? With the double J. Granted to special people, Salaki, granted to special groups of people to facilitate the performance of their public functions. All right. And see these wave of legislations that are being passed. This is what keeps them in the power seat. This is what keeps them from being scrutinized, man, from being called out and exposed. But it's too late. You know, the damage is already done, and all this is doing is just making matters worse for them. You know, it's just proving what's being said about them. You know, right? It says exemption from being sued. It says freedom or exemption from any charge, duty, obligation, office, tax, imposition, penalty, or service. A particular privilege. You see that privilege, that immunity that they have, man, that protection, right? So let's go back, right? Excuse me. So finishing it out again, it says, last part of this paragraph, it says nearly identical hate crime legislation passed the South Carolina legislature last week and now awaits signature by Governor Henry McMaster. It says Florida legislators are rapidly advancing a similar bill that provides enhanced criminal penalties, including extended prison time for hate crimes involving some forms of speech related to Israel. You see? All right. Let's read that again. All right. This thing is getting heavy. It says Florida legislators are rapidly advancing a similar bill that provides enhanced criminal penalties, including extended prison time for hate crimes involving some forms of speech related to Israel. So you could be punished for your speech, man. What you say. These are the times when. This is why was Ephesians the 5th chapter, you know, redeeming the time because the days are evil, man. So we have to be seasoned in our speech. We have to use wisdom even more now, man. All right. This is all part of the devil, Revelation 12:12, of coming down with great wrath because he has nothing but a short time. All right. This is Amos 8:11. All right. This is definitely, you know, famine of the word scenarios here, man. All right. It says Amos 8:11. It says, behold, the days come, save the Lord power, Yahweh Shemel Shai, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh Shemel Shai. And like we were saying at camp, man, it's going to get to the point, right? The 12 tribe sign is going to be labeled, you know, anti, you know what, you know, saying the name Yahweh Shai is going to be banned, you know. Like, it's going to get extreme, man. All right. And we see it coming. You know, it says, Amos 8:12, they should wander from sea to sea and from the north even to the east. They should run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, and should not find it. Yeah, this is it, man. All right. Time is running out, man. All right. It said a wave of legislation, man. All right. They just doctoring shit up at light speed, man. Okay, this thing is gonna get more intense as we move on into this spring summertime, man. All right, Esau's clamping down. All right, so that famine of the word is pretty much upon us, man. All right, they're gonna get us off the streets. Right, they're gonna remove more videos, channels. All right, these things are coming down the pipe. It says in that day, verse 13, in that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. All right. So the Lord is going to remove, all right, his spirit. Okay. And that's the time that we're coming into, man. You know, So anyway, let's read a little bit more. All right. A wave of legislation, man. And look at these Edomites, man. Right? Anyway, let's read some more. All right, so read that again. It says Florida legislators are rapidly advancing a similar bill that provides enhanced criminal penalties, including extended prison time for hate crimes involving some forms of speech related to Israel. Let me get a quick scripture on that. All right, prison time. Revelation 2:10. Okay. Revelation 2:10. All right. Like I said before, I would start at verse 9. All right. But hey, this is probably one of the scriptures that they're gonna that they're gonna criminalize, right? But anyway, Revelation 2:10, it says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." Man, this is serious business here, man. All right. They're talking about in this bill prison time for speech against these people, man. All right. Hey, this is the fulfillment of this prophecy here. All right. The devil shall cast some of you into prison that you may be tried. Let's get that word for devil. Right. Because it's not a red monster in the middle of the planet Earth underground with a pitchfork and horns on his head, man. Who is this devil that is talking about? The devil shall cast some of you into prison, it said.
Strong's G 1228. Diabolos. Diabolos.
All right. So who's the devil? Prone to slander, slanderous, accusing falsely. All right. And he's going to do that by the way of these bills that are being pushed. Right. It says a culminator, false accuser, slanderer. The point, it says metaphorically applied to a man. All right. So the devil is an actual man. All right. I wonder who that is. Applied to a man who, by opposing the cause of the Most High, may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with him. I wonder who could that be. All right. So this devil that is talking about is not some mystical creature. All right. That's in hell. All right. This is an actual man opposing the cause of the Most High. He's in direct opposition of the Most High. It says, and may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with him. All right. Take a good guess. All right. Usually, think critically on who could that be. All right. Anyway, that was it. All right. Let's go back. These are the times, man. Matter of fact, let me add one more. That's one in was it Luke? Bear with me 1 second. There's another one I was thinking about. Luke. Let's see. Exactly. This is Luke chapter 12. We'll start up. Things to come. Okay. Luke chapter 21 and verse 10, and it reads, it says, Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilence and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. But before all these they shall lay their hands on you, and persecute you, and delivering you up to the synagogues, all right, and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. All right. And who are the kings and rulers now? All right. The nobles, Isaiah 13:2. The nobility, the princes of this world, man. All right. Who runs the show? Who has full control of the world's resources, man? The money, the military. Who controls the government? Right? They ain't hard to tell. You see? So we're definitely in that time of these scriptures coming into fruition. These things are going to play out. The synagogues into prisons and being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake, man. All right. Prophecy is being fulfilled by the way of these legislations. You see? And it's going to get physical. They're going to literally come after us, man, as it is written. Right? So reading on here. Okay. because I wanted to bring this out. This was a good article just to show you how these wave of legislations are coming in, man. All right. So next paragraph, it says in New York State, legislators proposed legislation that would make it a Class A misdemeanor, punishable by up to a year in prison, to vandalize any banner, poster, flyer, or billboard that supports the country or citizens of Israel in any way, man. Hey, these niggas are going hard, right? So if you vandalize, you spray paint, you do anything, all right, it's going to be labeled as a hate crime, and you could be punished up to a year in prison. Ain't that something, right? It says the lawyer legislation differs from the state legislation, and it deals primarily with higher education. If the federal government finds that a university has allowed that the definition of anti-you-know-what to go unchecked, the U.S. government can deprive that university of federal funding or even press charges for alleged civil rights violations. Man, this is crazy. It says, by contrast, the state laws and legislation, including what is proposed in New York and enacted in Georgia, directly expand the scope of behavior subject to criminal prosecution and enhance sentences for existing violations. For example, an act of alleged anti-you-know-who vandalism would now be subject to a harsher penalty. Right? At the heart of it all is a desire to equate harsh Israel criticism and anti-Zionism opposition to the idea of Israel as a Jewish rather than secular, multi-ethnic, or Arab state with anti-you-know-what. All right, and we'll read this last paragraph. All right, you can read the rest on your own. All right, but it says, all these laws, federal and state, require government entities to adopt international. I'm not even going to read that. The organization's definition includes many sensible clauses whose prejudice no reasonable people would dispute, such as calling for, aiding, or justifying the killing or harming of double J's in the name of a radical ideology or extremist view of religion. All right, which, as I said before, this is tied back to us, the prophets that are out here bringing out the truth on the highways and hedges, man, that are bringing forth this knowledge on the unicorn. All right, this is being tied to a radical ideology or extremist view of religion. All right, and it's extreme because why? Because what we're saying is in direct opposition to this man's empire. All right, you know, we're calling for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai to come and destroy this man. All right, to take down his power. So that's going to be tied into all types of those buzzwords, extremism, radicalization, the T word, so on and so forth, right? Anyway, Isaiah 10, because like I said, I didn't want to get all to it, because they're looking for, these algorithms, they're looking to, to take videos and shit, you know how it go. This is Isaiah 10:1. It says, woe unto them that decreed unrighteous decrees in that right grievousness which they have prescribed. And this is them. These are those unrighteous decrees, man. All right, to keep them shielded, to keep them covered from any type of criticism, to keep them from being exposed, right? But all this is doing, as I said in the previous lesson, all this is doing is just showing their hand. All right, it's just exposing them even further, right? It's a bad look, right? And like I said, they're the professional victims. So I was looking that up, real quick. It's off Wikipedia. It says playing the victim. All right, because these niggas are good at that. That says playing the victim, also known victim playing, victim card, or self-victimization, right? And that's a good point too. Self-victimization, because right now, as it's been exposed, these protests that are going on at these different universities all around America, they're all being funded. You see, and that's what they do. That's what Esau does. You know, they fund the problem, right, in order to enact the legislation. This is how they get the bills passed. You know, they create the issue, right? Because he plays both sides. Okay, they create the issue, and then they go to the Congress to create a legislation bill that keeps them covered, man. All right, so these devils are extremely, you know, they're extremely slick. You know, the scriptures tell us, and was it Genesis the 3rd chapter, that the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. You know, so this is how they get down. All right, so like the scriptures say, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. It's all for a bigger purpose, right? So it says, playing the victim, also known as victim playing, victim card, or self-victimization, is the fabrication or exaggeration of victimhood for a variety of reasons, such as to justify abuse to others, to manipulate others, a coping strategy, attention seeking, or diffusion of responsibility. It says a person who repeatedly does this is known as a professional victim. It says jumping down, right? The point, I'm going to read this under for manipulation. So it says, manipulators often play the victim role, woe is me, by portraying themselves as victims or of circumstances or someone else's behavior in order to gain pity or sympathy, right? And there's a definition that the brother Quanah Wolf will bring out called compassion fatigue, right? Let's pull that up, right? Compassion fatigue, because people are tired of feeling sorry for these frauds, right? Compassion fatigue. Let's see what that says. It says a jaded attitude on the part of a contributor toward appeals for donations or charitable aid. Let's see, is there anything else I want to pull out of there? Bear with me. Compassion fatigue. It says the physical and mental exhaustion and emotional withdrawal experienced by those who care for sick or traumatized people over an extended period of time. And what's heavy, you know, people are tired of giving, you know, the billions in aid to these people, man. You know, but you play the role of being the victim and being oppressed, but you're the oppressor. And the world has woken up to that. You know, people are not buying these stories in the media no more. That's why I found this heavy too, not to go off topic here. But this came out today. It says looking to unify America. It says vast majority of Americans distrust news media on every level. People are tired of this shit, man. They're tired of the bread and circus. They're tired of the fake ass stories, man. You know, everything as far as the media is concerned is controlled by the people that are playing the victim. All right, it's not a secret no more, man. All right, so going back to that definition of compassion fatigue, you know, people are just tired, man. They're tired of hearing. They're tired of you running around using that get out of jail free card, man. You already know what we're talking about, all right? You know. So anyway, finishing it out, and we'll get to the video in a second. All right, I just wanted to read this. It says, for manipulation, it says manipulators often play the victim role, woe is me, by portraying themselves as victims of circumstances or someone else's behavior in order to gain pity or sympathy or to invoke compassion, thereby get something from someone else. Caring and consensuous people cannot stand to see anyone suffering, and the manipulator often finds it easy and rewarding to play on sympathy to get cooperation, right? And this is what they do, all right? They manipulate, and who are they manipulating? These damn Christians, man. These bugged out, dumbass Christians that don't know any better, that actually think that these people that are over there proclaiming to be the sons of God are actually the sons of God, man. Right? So they're the main ones that are getting manipulated right now, man. You see? But we're in a time of what? Deuteronomy 33 and verse 29. It says, "Happy thou, O Israel, Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by the Lord. Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the shit of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency, and thy enemies shall be found liars unto thee. See that? That's what's going on right now. All right. Our enemies are being found as liars. All right. And they can't get out of it. So what do? Drop a wave of legislation on your ass where you can't say nothing. It says, finish it out. It says, and thy enemies shall be found liars unto you. Slaki, and thy enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. And that's happening through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. This word is treading upon their high places. This is what's bringing down the strongholds, man, the lies. Right. This is why everybody's questioning and scrutinizing these people. You see, the power is dwindling. All right. Let me hold the scripture on deck too. And then let's get to this video. All right. Just want to hold this on deck. Is that Sirach? The 10th chapter. Right. All right. So yeah, we'll hold that there. So anyway, let's get to the video real quick. And I'll come back to this if the spirit calls for it. All right. But the point is that nobody believes shit no more, man. All right. Anyway, let's go to the video. Let's just show you, man, how hard these fraudsters are going. You know, as we read this definition of playing the victim, right? So this came out like 2 days ago. It says, are Jayish people white? This question and more answered in a new book. Now check this out, man. And we're not going to go too deep into it. Just we're going to grab scriptures and go. But, you know, once you watch the video, you'll get it.
Passed a bipartisan bill yesterday that would, or the House passed a bipartisan bill yesterday that would establish a wider definition of anti-Semitism amid protests at universities across the country. We've been covering some of that live this morning. The legislation will give the Department of Education broader powers to crack down on anti-Semitism on college campuses. It also requires the department to use the definition of anti-Semitism put forward by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance when enforcing anti-discrimination laws. Joining us now to talk more about this, the former Israeli Special Envoy for Combating Anti-Semitism, best-selling author Noah Tishby, and former NFL linebacker and creator of the anti-racial digital series Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, best-selling author Emmanuel Acho. They are co-authors of the new book, Perfect Timing, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Jew. That's the title.
Through.
Good to have you both. Great to be here.
So thank you for coming back. Talk about this book. Talk about where it began.
Well, it began 2 years ago. After writing Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, I realized, very simply put, we would all be better as a society if we didn't fight in silos. If Black people didn't just fight for Black people, women fighting for women, but what if the Jewish community fought alongside Black community? What if the white community fought alongside the Black community rather than fighting against one another? What if we identified the common enemy, which was hate, which is oppression, which is marginalization? So I actually reached out to Noah prior to October 7th. We've been penning this book for...
Right. So if you don't pay attention, you see those are the buzzwords, the hate, you know, oppression and all of that, you know, and all of this is just confusion. You know, Esau, you know, he's letting you know what they're about to do. And they always got to use some token, you know, Jake, you know, to put his ass in the forefront, man. Nothing but just madness, right? Real quick. The time for everything, right? And see, Esau, the main thing that they're trying to combat is hate, right? But when you go to the source of the hate, it all goes back to him, right? So this is why they're doing these things. They're setting up these bills, these legislations. They're pushing forth more confusion. They're trying to unify. Let's bring everybody together. You know, this one world spirit. You see it. But anyway, This is Ecclesiastes 3:1. It says, to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted, all right? And we're in that time of what? Of destruction, all right? And it said a time to pluck up which is planted, and now it's time for what? Babylon to be plucked up, all right? We're in the time of Esau being removed. It says a time to kill, a time to heal, right? We're clearly in the time to kill. Why? Because what? You see war on the horizon. Great death is in the air, man. Judgments are being set forth. A time to break down, right? As we see the breakdown of Babylon, and a time to build up, which the elect are being built up through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. It's all spiritual. A time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get, a time to lose, all right? Babylon's about to lose, all right? America's about to lose, all right? You niggas that want to be joined hand in hand, all right, with your enemies, you're about to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rent, a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak. And these prophecies are speaking, all right, loud and clear. A time to love, a time to hate. See? A time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. And we're in a time of hate and war. All right. And there's no stopping that. There's no decree, no legislation that's going to stop that, man, at the end of the day. All right. Esau can't stop the his judgment coming upon his head, man. All right. He can't hide himself pursuing the Jeremiah 49 and verse 10. All right. The Lord is making them bear. But going back to this, just wanted to show you, just the confusion that these devils are pushing, man. All right. They're getting ready to come after anything that they deem anti, anything that's deemed as hateful, harmful rhetoric, any type of extremist ideology, as it said. All right. He's really cracking down pursuing the Revelation 12 and 12, man. Right. Meanwhile, these people, they get away of playing that victim role,
Conversations with a Jew. That's the title. Good to have you both. Great to be here.
So thank you for coming back. Talk about this book. Talk about where it began.
Well, it began 2 years ago. After writing Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, I realized, very simply put, we would all be better as a society if we didn't fight in silos. If Black people didn't just fight for Black people, women fighting for women, but what if the Jewish community fought alongside the Black community? What if the white community fought alongside the Black community rather than fighting against one another? What if we identified the common enemy, which was hate, which is oppression, which is marginalization? So I actually reached out to Noah prior to October 7th. We've been penning this book for a long time because I wanted to educate myself, and she could help me do that, because with education, I believe, comes empathy. And Noah said yes.
Oh, said yes very quickly. So it's very important to actually understand that Emmanuel noticed the rise in anti-Semitism, specifically from the Black community, way before a lot of people did. And he was like, wait a minute, I'm a Black man. I don't want to speak for you in that context. But he's like, I noticed this when Jewish people noticed this and not when people from outside the community did. And he reached out and wanted to be a true ally, which is what this book is about.
Talk about...
Wow. Give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Salakia. Bear with me 1 second. All right, Salakia. Had to handle something real quick. Salakia. So let's go back. Bear with me, y'all. All right. Let's go back and play a little bit of that again.
I understand, but Emmanuel noticed the rise in anti-Semitism, specifically from the Black community, way before a lot of people did. And he was like, wait a minute, I'm a Black man. I don't want to speak for you in that context. But he's like, I noticed this when Jewish people noticed this and not when people from outside the community did. And he reached out and wanted to be a true ally, which is what this book is about.
Talk about the unique challenges, though, the horrific challenges that have arisen for Jews across the world. I mean, I always remind people there are only 15 million Jews in the world for a reason. And
You see, here we go with all of this, you know.
And talk about the rise there, and especially among radicals who call Jews white European colonialists. When Israel was created 3 years after white European colonialists marched 6 million Jews into ovens.
Yeah, I mean, look.
But hold up, not to get all into it, but you know, it's on the record. You know, you got videos of like these people that are in positions of power out there. They come from Germany and Poland and shit like that. They're not originally from the land. These are so-called white Europeans, all right, claiming to be Israelites, all right? But that's a whole nother story, okay? Coming from Russia and shit like that, all right? You have no ties to the land. Real quick, man. So I didn't want to touch too much in it. You know, they might get me. But anyway, this is Isaiah 63, right? This whole segment is just madness, man. Right? This is Isaiah 63 in verse 17. It says, O Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, why hast thou made us to err from thy ways and harden our heart from thy fear? Return for thy servants' sakes, the tribes of thy inheritance, right? And where's the 12 tribes of Israel at, man? All right. All you see is you know, you have Levi and you know, you have the JEW, all right, for Judah, right? But where's the rest of them? Anyway, verse 18, it says, the people of thy holiness have possessed it for a little while, speaking about the Holy Land. All right. It says, our adversaries have trodden down thy sanctuary. The point, it says, we are thine. Thou never bearest rule over them. They were not called by thy name, right? We belong to the Lord. We are his people. It says, thou never bearest rule over them. All right. It says they were not called by thy name. All right. This is talking about the people that's in this video, this lesson that I'm doing. All right. Anyway, play a little bit more.
Fact that some in the extreme left were able to brand Israel a colonialist state is one of the most brilliant feats in crazy land.
Yeah.
Because literally Israel is a refugee state which was decolonized from Great Britain. So when these people chanted it,
Yeah. Speaking about that, going back to the Balfour Declaration, man. All right, you got the land on some illegal paperwork, man. Right. Matter of fact, let's go into that real quick. Okay, and who's in the land? Let's read that. This is Ezekiel 36, verse 1, and it reads, it says, also thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai. Verse 2, it says, thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh Shemel Shai, because the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. All right, so verse 2 tells us that what? That the enemy is occupying the high places, the ancient land. All right. Our enemy is over there. Okay. It says, verse 3, therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh Shemel Shai, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen. And you are taken up in lips of talkers and are an infamy of the people. All right. Because we've been conquered. We've been taken down. Right. We've been swallowed up on every side. You know, we were taken by the nations, if you will. Right. It says, verse 4 says, therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai. Thus saith the Lord, power Yahweh Shem Shai, to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, and to the desolate waste, and to the cities that are forsaken. It says, which become, Salakia, which became a prey and a derision to the residue of the heathen, which are round about, right? Because, you know, we fell as a nation, we were scattered, put into slavery. You see that? And the land has become a derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about, right? Because what's going on in the Holy Land? You have so-called Palestinians fighting against Amalek. You know, you got some Elamites up in there, some Hamites. You see what I'm saying? Ishmaelites. So you got heathen that are pretty much occupying the land, right? It says, verse 5, it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, power Yahweh Shem Shai, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all of Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession, right? So the Idumeans, all right, they're in the Holy Land. Who are the Idumeans? All right, that's Greek for Esau, Edom, the Edomites. That's who's in the land. Okay, your so-called white Europeans, as they were talking about, right? This is how they got the land, and they got the land through what was called the Balfour Declaration, which was established in 1917. All right, it was an official letter written to what's his name, Lionel Walter Rothschild, man, who was a JJ, and it was established between that British government, and this is how they created, you know, the state for the double J, okay, which came into fruition in 1948. Okay, so the Idumeans, the Edomites, are in the land. Against all of Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. All right, so pretty much the Holy Land was bought and paid for, man. You see, it was stolen. All right. So anyway, let's go back. We'll play a little bit more and wrap this up. I don't want to be too long.
148. We don't want 2 states. We want 48. They're talking about going back to British colonialism.
Right.
I'm not entirely sure. And this is to what we were talking about, that anti-Zionism is the new form of anti-Semitism. This is exactly what we're seeing right now on college campuses.
So can you tell me though why kids in college, and I call them kids because I'm an old dude. I got kids.
They're kids.
But
They're liberal
why,
adults.
how did they get to a point where they started chanting genocidal phrases from the river to the sea? And they don't even know, a lot of them don't even know what they're proposing.
They don't know what they're proposing. So the thing about what's happening right now on college campuses, it's three things that we have to understand. First of all, it's obviously not peaceful. Second, it's not grassroots.
Yeah, these things are happening because people are waking up. All right, let me get something real quick. Just thinking out loud. All right. Where's that one? I think this is Sirach. Bear with me as I find it. This is Sirach 41. All right, this is Sirach 41. All right, this is Sirach 41 and verse 5. Verse 6. This is Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 41, verse 6. It says, the inheritance of sinners' children shall perish, and their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach, because Esau is going to be done away with eventually. The point, verse 7, it says, the children will complain of an ungodly father because they shall be reproached for his sake, right? Because people are waking up. People understand, you know, what he did, how he got the land, how he conquered the world, you know, and these so-called children today, you know, they're complaining. All right. They're saying that everything that they propose is a lie. You know, you don't fit the story. So like he was saying, you know, why are these kids doing that? Because hey, we're in a time of truth, man. We live in the age of information, man. Okay, shameful spewing is coming upon this man's glory. You see? It says, verse 8, it says, woe be unto you, ungodly men, which have forsaken the law of the Most High God, for if you increase, it shall be to your destruction. Exactly. Right? The wicked are multiplied for the sword, as it tells you in the book of Job. Right? Let me add one in there too. Okay, what's that one in Jeremiah 16? Right? Jeremiah 16 and verse 19, and it reads, O Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shah, my strength, my fortress, and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, speaking about the heathen nations, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. And that's what's going on. You know, now it's being exposed that, look, you're a bunch of liars. You don't fit the history. You don't fit the prophecies, man. Okay, how you're not the victim. Okay, you're the oppressor. You're the problem. See, this is what's being called out. This is what's being shouted out. All right, the earth is rising up, crying out. This is what's going on. This is why this is happening. Okay.
It's because it's well coordinated, well funded. For example, the tents, all of them have green tents. It's very puzzling. And the most important thing is that it's not true. So the kids that are actually protesting and think that they're doing the best thing for humanity, what happened is that they have been brainwashed by TikTok to believe that Zionism necessitates the genocide of Palestinians. They were
right. Once again, this is why they're coming after social media, man. All right. There's a lot of truth. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of bullshit that's on social media as well, but there's a lot of truth that's going out, man, on this unicorn, social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everything, man. So they want full control of it, right? They're seeing, right, as I spoke about earlier, even though a lot of this stuff is staged and orchestrated, but at the same time, there's people rising up all over the earth against him. That's the prophecy said would happen. People will rise up. People will come to the understanding, right? Isaiah 25:7, right? You see, these things, they're not just happening just to be happening. This is the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shah that's making this happen. Isaiah 25:7, it says, and he will destroy in this mountain, all right? And mountains represent major governments, all right? So in this mountain, speaking about America, it says the face of the covering cast over all people and the veil that is spread over all the nations. So the Lord is removing that veil, that covering cast. People are now seeing the truth. All right. And it started by the way of the prophets, man. By the name of Yahweh Shemel Shai being magnified, and also these prophecies, man. All right. Understanding is going forth. All right. Daniel's the 12th chapter said that knowledge would increase in these last days, you know. Everything that's been hidden would no longer remain hidden, roughly paraphrasing, right?
are trained, literally brainwashed by TikTok to believe that Israel is a colonialist state, and that's been happening for decades.
What do you mean by TikTok?
Well,
Like,
I mean that they're all we know what's happening on TikTok in terms of numbers and what is being pushed on TikTok in terms of anti-Israel and anti-Semitic rhetorics. Like, we actually have the numbers. It's insane. It's through the roof. And these kids don't.
And they shook. They're shook.
By the way, run Rev by the Communist Chinese government.
Yeah.
Who wants to see the division? One of the things that interests me about your book, and I wanted to...
I didn't even see that nigga. I didn't even know he was in there. He's finished. Right? Come on, man. Like I said, you see how hard they're going with this thing, man. Right?
Addresses to Emmanuel. It is uncomfortable conversations we have to have.
Yeah.
When I started talking with Rabbi Pesner and Jonathan Greenblatt with ADL, trying to bring us together, and they had to confront me, well, you were involved with some things that we felt were anti-Semitic. And I said, no, I didn't say this, but I did allow certain things that I was insensitive to. And I think on the other side, they had to understand how some felt in the Black community. These kind of candid conversations really test the sincerity of both sides, of whether we really believe what we say, or are we just going to keep taking shots at each other. Talk about that, because there have been tensions.
Yeah.
And I think some distortions on both sides that we need to put out front, because usually the people that are anti-Semitic are also anti-Black.
Correct. Well, the first question I had to ask myself is what
You listening to this, right? I'll play a little bit more. You know, but you're hearing this.
in the world is anti-Semitism? Is there a Semite group that you can be anti? Because if you don't know what anti-Semitism is, how can you avoid being anti-Semitic? And so the very first thing I had to do was say, hey, Noah, what is anti-Semitism? And she said, it's actually interesting. It's both looking down at a Jew and looking up at a Jew.
It's bullshit. That's what it is. It's anything what these niggas wanted to be. You see? Enough of this madness, man. Like I said, you see what they're doing. They're trying to, this is how they're going to combat hate. This is how they're going to come against anybody that's against them. All right. You see it. All right. We ain't got to rush the rest of it. There's another 4 minutes left, but just total confusion and madness, man. All right. So that's why now you got to put on the whole armor, man. All right. You got to walk with wisdom. All right. There's a certain way that we're going to have to, speak on these videos and things of that nature now, because this is where we're at. This is where we're at this point of prophecy, right? Ephesians 6:10, and it reads, it says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, in the power of his might, put on the whole armor of the Most High. What's the whole armor of the Most High? The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. This truth. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. And what we just saw pretty much in this article here and in this played out video, all right, this is all wiles of the devil, man. This is all his deception, his trickery, man. All right, on how he can use that victim role and get over. This is how he's manipulating you, right, as we read earlier. All right, Esau not slick, man. It says, going back, it says, verse 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And you know who that is. All right. The powers that be, the ones that control everything, right? This is who we're wrestling against. This is who we're up against. So you got to put on the whole armor. Wherefore take you unto the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, right? Because he's coming. He's coming with everything. All right. It says, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, and above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you should be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, right? Because he's shooting them, man. And he's shooting them by the way of these decrees. A wave of legislation, man. Not a little bit, but a wave. They're drowning people in this shit, man. Right? It says, verse 17, to take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh Shemel Shai, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. And for me, that utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel. Right? The point, you see? So you got to put on the whole armor right now, man. All right. You see exactly what they're doing. Okay. All right. This is finishing it out here. It says, in this headline, it says, I don't know why it's doing that, Salakia. Let me see. Go up like this. All right. Well, if you could barely read it, but it says Republicans voting for bill that could make Bible illegal. Outrageous MAGA. All right. So we're not going to read this. All right. This has already been kind of covered already by brothers, but you can see where everything is being tied to, getting rid of the Bible, getting rid of the prophets, keeping the people from saying anything about those that truly have the power, So yeah, we'll leave it like that, man. That's pretty much it. I wanted to just, bring this out. I pray that this lesson was informative and also edifying, man. This is just the the waiver legislation for the professional victim, man. So you brothers and sisters out there, you know what time it is, man. Times are getting heavy. So that's pretty much the point, Pray this lesson was edifying. All right. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring, the house of David, the elect, that's pushing his word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom to you, brothers, and shalom to the elect. Shalom.